गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, welcome dear devotees. Once again, we're going to be discussing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter. And today we shall try to discuss from shloka number 31. And if time permits, Krishna willing, we'll also discuss 32. Okay, so what happened last time? Last time there was a particular form of the Lord which was introduced, and that particular form is something which really captivates the intelligence of many people, and that particular form is the Virat Purusha, the universal form. Right, so we are going to get into a little more details about this universal form in our discussion today. So requesting all devotees to take part enthusiastically. So I'll be reciting the shloka 2 times, and I request 2 devotees to please recite after me. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yata nabhasi meghaughो रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले एवं द्रष्टरि द्रष्टव्यम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौघो रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले एवं द्रष्टरि द्रष्टव्यम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः. Okay, Sachidanand Prabhu, you can start.
यथा नभसि मुल्गोको रेणुवार पार्थिवो अनिले एवं द्रष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः. हरे
Thank you,
कृष्ण.
Prabhu. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who is eager, enthusiastic to recite the shloka? Okay, Raksha Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna dear devotees. Yatha navasi megho renurva parthivo nile evam drastir drishatvam aropitam buddhivi.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So now let's try to get into the Anvaya, the word to word meaning. Yatha, Yatha. So whenever there is this word Yatha, we need to understand Tatha will also come in some way. There is no Tata here, but it means just as. So there is an analogy. In order to understand Virat Rupa, the Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting an analogy. And what is that analogy? That's something we're going to understand. Yatha, just as. Nabhasi. What is Nabhasi? Nabhasi is the sky. Megha Ogha. Megha is clouds, and Ogha is massive clouds. Yes, masses of clouds. That's called as Ogha. So Megha Ogha means massive clouds going where? In the sky. Yatha Nabhasi Megho Gau Renuva Parthivo Anile. Renu. What is Renu? Renu means dust. And Parthiva Anile. Okay, so it's like muddiness. The dust, the muddiness, the muddy thing on the Prithvi is something that's the air comes. Anila. Anila is air that comes and takes the dust particles, Renu, from the Parthiva, Prithvi, or the earth, or the muddiness. Okay. Evam Drashtari drashtavyam. So thus, drashtari, the seer, and drashtavyam, for the purpose of seeing, aropitam abuddhibihi, is automatically implied for the less intelligent person. This requires some explanation. The word to word meanings may be a little mystical. So what is Virat Rupa compared to? Universal form compared to? Just like group of clouds are distributed in the sky. Yatha nabasi megogo. Yes, group of clouds, different clouds are distributed in the sky. Second analogy that is given is the dust. The dust is raised by the air. So as soon as you see dust, right, you see dust around, which means the air is moving the dust. Okay, and similarly, just as we see the clouds moving, should automatically imply that's the sky. Correct, that is the sky. If clouds, where are clouds? Clouds will not be moving on land, they are moving in sky. So the moment you see clouds, we are to, that implies that is the sky. And the moment you see dust, oh, air is moving. Similarly, Virat Rupa implies the presence of Supreme Lord. Yes, drashtavyam. Drashtavyam. Drashtavyam means what is seen. Yes, the universal form of Lord is situated within the Lord. So drashtavyam. So what is seen? Yes, drashtari. Actually, Krishna is invisible. Drashtari means the Lord who is invisible, especially to the foolish people. Abuddhibihi. The people, buddhi is intelligence, and abuddhi means lack of intelligence. For such kind of people, the Lord is invisible. Drashtavyam, but they are given an opportunity to see the Lord. Getting the point? So what is universal form? Universal form is attributing to the presence of Lord. Universal form is the indication of the presence of Krishna in one sense. If universal form is presence, Krishna is definitely present. So what is universal form? It's the universe all around. We're going to discuss more in details. So the universal form is visible in the form of the universe. Every element of universe is the universal form. Alright, so I request one devotee to read the translation. Who's ready? Can read the translation. Read the one in maroon color. Yes, Damai Radha Prabhu.
Thank you. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self.
Let's go to the purport. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Who would like to read purport? Anybody? Okay. We'll give a chance to Nisha Mataji. Please go and read.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. It is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virat Rupa. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say, "This is the president." For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown. First, the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. The clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but this is a general conception for the layman only. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's very amazingly and easily explained by Srila Prabhupada. We can take some practical examples. Now, how do you understand if a family is at home or they are gone for outing? By looking at the car. Oh, their car is not there. Which means I think they are not there at home. So if car is parked at a particular place, we are able to see, oh, this is a parking. Okay, they usually park the car here, car is not there. So I think the family members have gone out. So we assume. On the other hand, when car is there, we feel okay, I think they've come back. They've returned. Yes. I remember how we used to check if our senior is there in the ashram or not. By looking at the chappal, we used to go to chappal stand and check. If the senior is, senior used to have very special chappals. Or this chappal is there, senior is there. Chappal is not there, senior is not there. So when senior is not there, we are carefree. Senior is there, we are alert. So one day our senior changed his chappal. We all thought he is not there. We were casual. Senior came out. Oh my God, Prabhuji was here. He changed his chappals. So this is the way we understand. Right? For a layman, that's how we understand whether somebody is present or not. Again. So similarly, by looking at the universe, that's why they say, we really want to realize God, we have to be in the nature. The more we get into contact with the nature, to that degree we will be able to perceive God. Yes, we'll be able to perceive God. Wow. As such, look at the power of Maya. Maya is so very powerful that we absolutely have no clue who we are. And that's what happened in the beginning. In the beginning, when Brahma was about to create living entities, yes, he had done all his sadhana, everything. He created 5 things. Sasajagre andatamishram atatamishramadikrit mahamoham cha moham cha tamascha ajnana vrittaya. He created 5 types of nescience, which is exactly what he didn't want. But it got created, and everything is created for a purpose. If living entities have to come to this material world, then they have to be covered over by ignorance. If they are not covered over by ignorance, they will never ever experience being an enjoyer. The moment you realize you are not this body or soul, I'm not talking about knowledge, I'm talking about realization. We realize we are not this body, we are the soul, we will not be able to enjoy. And that is why cover this identity. How many of us figured out we are not this body, we are soul? Okay, fine. How many of them got this knowledge that we are not the body, we are the soul after coming in contact with devotees only? ISKCON, we first time read, it was a great discovery. Somehow this is good. In the Western countries, people finding out this, they are like, wow, man, which means we are different from this body. There was one lady who was constantly body shamed by all her friends and colleagues. And she was the most blissful person. When devotees were they gone out for book distribution, he met the devotees, they explained that there's something called soul. And she was like, which means I'm not this chubby, stout body. They said, no, that's not you. Oh, this is just a vehicle that's carrying me. He said, precisely. She was so happy. My God, so all that body shaming. It was called body shaming. It's not shaming me. It was so wonderful. It was a very liberating experience for her to understand. But in India, there are a lot of misconceptions. You go to the eastern side of the world, people have a lot of misconceptions about this. They say, we know, Atma, we know all this. We are this body and we have an Atma inside. My God, that's not the philosophy. That's absolutely not. So people have so many misconceptions. Nobody has a real conception. Or somebody says, yes, we are only Paramatma. Right now we are Atma. When we realize we are Atma, we become Paramatma. Oh, Paramatma is another Purasisto Anyaha. Yes, very clearly Krishna says, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi. Sir, I am also there. The moment he says, I am also there, he has a different identity. Right? I am also in the room. What does it mean? There is one more person there. At least one person there. That's when you use this word, also. So, a lot of misconceptions that is created. And some people believe, okay, body is... One person went and gives analogy also. He was giving, very famous spiritualist. He gave an analogy. Actually, we are like battery in... There's a particular watch, a wall clock or a watch. And it's run by battery. Yes. So, we are actually the battery that is running the watch. What is the problem with this analogy? The battery drains out, but Atma doesn't. Another other thing, one more thing, problem with this theory is that if you see, the watch remains constant and it's only the battery that's getting replaced. So people have so much hodgepodge philosophy. Nobody is clear. Right? So unless we come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, we will not get this clarity. This is the time for sunrise. Right? Sunrise. Seeing the sun is called God realization, an analogy. And seeing our face in the mirror is what it is. Seeing our face in the mirror is self-realization. So till the time it's dark, pitch dark, one will not be able, of course, now we have all these lights and tube lights, bulbs, all these things. But imagine all this electricity didn't exist. That absolutely didn't exist. Then how do we look at ourselves? We can only see oneself in the mirror when there is sun, which has risen. So when there is sunrise, you see the sun, you see ourselves. So usually the Gyanis, they focus on self-realization, not much on God realization. Yes. So they are focusing on self-realization. They don't want, that's why they don't get it. They may get a hodgepodge philosophy, they don't get it. But devotees focus on God realize. We want to realize God. Yes. You see the sun, you see ourselves. And that is why the best process that's given to us is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In fact, it is hearing of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada, how many of you read Srila Prabhupada's purport to Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Panchatattva Mahamantra? Panchatattva is also Mahamantra. It is not mantra. Many times people say Panchatattva mantra. No, it is Panchatattva Mahamantra. Prabhupada writes this. How many of you read the purport? Oh, we should read. We are chanting every day, right? We are supposed to read that. Prabhupada has given purport to Panchatattva Mahamantra and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Both. He has given purport. It's really amazing. We should read because we are. So there he mentions very clearly that the process to revive, rekindle the wisdom and revive the love that we have for Krishna is hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But we have to understand that Mahamantra chanting has to be inoffensive. But we are committing offenses. What exactly do? We chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra. Hare Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. These five personalities, the Panchatattva, the inaugurators of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we worship them. We get their blessings. Then we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then our chanting becomes inoffensive. And this inoffensive chanting is something that's going to awaken the torment love. It is going to remove the coverings, all the false coverings. The chitta, there is a concept of chitta. What is the meaning of chitta? Chitta means impure consciousness. The property of soul is chit. Chit means knowledge. Soul is pure knowledge. But chitta is impure knowledge. And that is something which has to be removed. There was an amazing gift that I received. It was a quote of my spiritual master with his photo. It's there with me still. So that particular quote said that water is always pure. Yes, you just need to remove the impurity and the water is pure. Similarly, the soul is always pure. It's only the impurity that has to be removed. Yes, the impurity. And what is the impurity? Prabhupada writes, I am just describing what Prabhupada is writing in the purport to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The impurity is when the servant thinks he is the master. How many of you have seen movies where there is a big boss? Okay, he's a boss. He owns the entire company. You imagine his cabin and his chair. There's a special chair, right? And even the managers or everybody, nobody dares to go and sit on the chair. You've seen that? Even in the boardroom meeting, that one chair is going to be empty. Nobody is going to go and sit because that is a chair for the head. Others all will go and occupy their respective. They'll be sitting on either sides of the table. You've seen this? Yeah. So imagine there is a servant who is coming. He's a peon. He has to come and clean the table, clean the chair. So he cleans the table, cleans the chair, and he goes and sits on the chair just to see some time. Okay, I just want to experience how does it feel? What will happen? If he's found to be sitting on the chair, what's going to happen? He will be kicked out immediately. Right? Immediately be kicked out. So we are like that peon who is trying to sit on the chair, which means we are actually servants, but we are thinking we are enjoyers. That's the disease. That's the impurity. Yes, when servant thinks he is the master. And the height of this impurity is one believing that he is God. Yes, we believe he is God. Poundrak tendency. You know about Poundrak? He comes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He believed he is God. He fit two more arms. He did some surgery or something, I don't know how. He fit two more arms. He had Shankha and Chakra. He fit it. He had his own Ananta Shesh. I don't know if they were there was a real snake, but it was there. His Sudarshan would go sometimes. Yeah, he would send his Sudarshan. He had his own Balram. Right? So he had. Because he believed he's God. And he believed it so much. He found that there is another personality who's come up in Dwarka and claiming to be me. So he sent out a letter to Krishna. Say, what did he say? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. And after he's telling you, give up your nonsense. You think you're God. You give it up and just come and accept me as God and I'll forgive you. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami ma shucha. Don't fear. That is the audacity a living entity can have. What did Krishna do? Krishna just could laugh. He was laughing out loudly. How foolish can a living entity get? Right? So the beginning, the first step in God realization, the second canto, first chapter also, the first step towards God realization, which is given for the materialist, is the Virat Purusha. Yes, so there we'll study further about Virat Purusha. So that is the first step in God realization. Because the person is so much in materialistic consciousness, a yogi especially, a yogi has so much material consciousness, he is advised you meditate on the Virat Purusha, the universal elemental form. Right? You meditate. And eventually that is something that will lead you towards Paramatma and eventually Bhagavan. Okay. We go to the next verse. This is 1.332. Atha param yadavyaktam ayudha guna brahmitam adrishtva shruta vastutvat sajjivo yat punarbhava. Anybody would like to read the translation in maroon color? Anyone? Okay. We'll give chance to Bhakti Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form. Prabhuji, could you please scroll up? Form beyond this subtlety, otherwise he could not have repeated births.
Okay, we'll try to understand this. 'Atha param yadavyaktam ayudha guna brahmitam adrishtva shruta vastutvat sajjivo yat punarbhava.' Okay, we'll try to understand this. 'Atha param yadavyaktam ayudha guna brahmitam adrishtva shruta vastutvat sajjivo yat punarbhava.' So superior, now what is being, there is a gross universal form, which is nothing but universal elements. Example, the sun and moon are the eyes, the clouds are the eyebrows, the rains are his semen, his veins are the water bodies, rivers, his um, chest is the luminous planets, his navel is the that depression is the uh, outer space, hairs are his trees. So this is what universal form. So every time a yogi sees the trees, he remembers, oh, this is the hair of the Almighty Lord, universal form. Right? He sees the sun, oh, this is the hot eye of the Lord. He sees the moon, this is the cold eye of the Lord. So every time he's seeing any universal element, he's connecting it with some particular bodily limb of the universal form, the Virat Purusha. So that's how he becomes Krishna conscious. But this shloka is telling there is one more form that's superior to the gross universal form, and that form is not visible. It is not having any bodily parts. You cannot see it or hear it, and that is like the subtle body of the jiva. Just like a living entity has a subtle body, mind, intelligence and false ego, like that Virat Purusha also has a subtle body. Universal form is his gross body. The subtle body is the second form that cannot be seen. Yes. And what is the proof of subtle body? The proof of subtle body is the connection between the rebirth. Now, there is Dr. Ian Stevenson, right? And Dr. Ian Stevenson has researched many cases of spontaneous reincarnation, especially one is in infancy, just beyond infancy, maybe 3 years or 6 years of age. That time children get a lot of memories of their past life. They have the past life memory, and they get to know who they were in the past life, where they were, who were their parents, which part of the world they were born, what were their activities. There are many cases. He has done research over 2000 cases of such spontaneous remembrance of reincarnation. So what do we understand from reincarnation? Although the gross body is different, the subtle body is that link between the two bodies. And that's what subtle body is, the instrument of the rebirth of jivas. That's what is mentioned in the translation. Sa jivo yat punarbhava. Just like a jiva with the help of subtle body is punarbhava, he is getting another body. Adrishtva ashruta vastutvat. Adrishta, nobody has seen, nobody has heard, and but it's still vastutvat. It is like that. It's a vastu. It's still, that's the subtle body. So similarly, there is the subtle body also of Virat Purusha. Yes. So yogis, just as they worship the visible form of the universe, even though it is material, there is another class of yogis. Now this knowledge is not known to all. See Bhagavatam, how deep it is. So there are another set of some yogis who are materialistic. They are told to worship the universal elements, like mountain. What is mountain? The bones of the Lord. Yes, the bones of the Lord. There are another set of yogis who worship the subtle form of the universe as the Lord. And that is also material only, because subtle body is material. Subtle body is material or spiritual. The gross body is made of Panch Mahabhutat. Bhumi, Rapa, Analo, Vayu, Kham, earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's the gross body. Right? What's the subtle body? The subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego, man, buddhi, hankar, which is also material. What does Krishna say in the 7th chapter, 4th verse? Bhumi, Rapa, Analo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhirevacha, Hankaram, iti yamme. Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. So these are all Bhinna Prakriti. Bhinna Prakriti means the material energy. So all these 8 elements are the material elements. So the subtle body of the Virat Purusha is also worshipped by certain yogis. Now the description of this subtle form of the Virat Purusha comes in the 2nd canto, 10th chapter. Amuni Bhagavat Rupe Maya Tehi Anuvarnite. Ube api na grinanti Maya Srishte Vipaschita. So what is this verse telling? This verse is the 35th verse of the 2nd canto, 10th chapter. Amuni Bhagavat Rupe Maya Tehi Anuvarnite. Yes, the wise who are actually the intelligent people, they do not accept these two forms of the Lord. which are described by me. Although Lord is talking about His form, since they are composed of matter. So He is talking about not one form, He is talking about two forms. The gross body of Virat Purusha and the subtle body of Virat Purusha. Both of them are not accepted by the wise. Wise means who? Devotee. Devotee is only Buddhiman. And even if you see the second canto, first chapter, there's a description. There's a description of this gross body, if you have heard. It is said, Indradyo bahava ahur ushtakarnau disha shrottam amushya shabdah nastasya drishau paramasya nase grahano asya gandho mukham agnir iddah. What does it mean? Indra adyo bahavaha. So Devatas headed by Indra are his hands. Indradyo bahava ahur. Usraha karnau disha. The karna, right? The hearing, the ears to hear, they are the disha, the directions. Yes, the organ for hearing. This is called as. So from here come the Digdevatas, the 10 directions. Shrotram amushya shabdah. And the sound comes from his hearing organ, the Virat Purusha. Nastya darso paramasya nase. So Ashwini Kumaras, they come from the organ of smelling, that is the nose, nostrils. And fragrance arises from his smelling. So he smells, fragrance is born. And what is the last one? Asya gandho mukham agniridah. So his mouth is flaming with fire. And because he tastes, the sense of taste comes. Yes. And there is also one more. Vijnana Shakti Mahim Amanananti Sarvatmanantak Karanam Giritam Ashwasyavatari Utstra Gaja Nakhani Sarve Mriga Pashava Shroni Daeshe. So what is his this thing? Vijnana Shakti Mahim Amananti. If you see, the Mahat Tattva is his consciousness. Now you see the subtle. Rudra is his false ego. So Rudra is the false ego of Virat Purusha. And if you see the horses, the mules, the camels, the elephants, Ashwa, Ashwatari, Ushtra, Gaja, these 4 things, they are his nails. And all the other, Sarve Mriga Pashava Shroni Deshe, his all other animals are his hips. So if you see the nails and hips, okay, that is the gross form. But if you see the subtle one, Vijnana Shakti Mahimamananti Sarvato Antah Karanam Giritam. So the subtle form, if you see, there is Mahat Tattva and Rudra. Yes. So that subtle form of the gross Virat Purusha is Avyaktam. It is not visible. Avyuda Guna Bhimdam. It doesn't have a particular form. Yes, it doesn't have, subtle body doesn't have hands and feet like that. Yes, because it is not a form like you and your form, my form. No, it is not like that. Adrishta Ashruta Vastutvat. Then what is the proof? What is the proof for existence of subtle body? Because many times, as one devotee, I was interacting with him, he did not know what is subtle body. He never heard of subtle body. He was devotee chanting for many years. I said, come on Prabhu, this is there in Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So what is that subtle body of the Virat Purusha? The subtle body of Virat Purusha is mentioned finally. Virat Hiranya Garbhas cha Karanam Cheti Upadhyaya Ishasya Yantribirhinam Turyam Tat Prachakshate. So the subtle form of the Virat Purusha actually is the collection of all the jivas. So when Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes to this material universe, Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakshay Vishnu in each and every universe. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the soul of the universe. Who is the soul? Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from his navel comes what? From his navel comes the entire structure of the universe, which is the gross body of the Virat Purusha. So the soul of Virat Purusha is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. The gross body of Virat Purusha is the universe. Then what is the subtle body? The subtle body is called as Hiranya Garbha. The meaning of Hiranya is gold. And what is golden in color? You know what is the color of this universe? Mahabharata, the first verse of Mahabharata describes this universe as golden egg, Brahma Anda, which is gold. What was the color of Earth planet? It was golden in color till the time Hiranyaksha plundered the wealth. It was also golden. Everything was golden. Yes, and Satyuga is golden age, where everybody, they played with gold. Today the gold has lost value. Sorry, because it's become rare, its value has increased a lot. So the Garbhodaksha Vishnu releases a particular semen which is golden in color, and the color of the soul is also golden. Yes, the soul is golden in color. It shines like gold. So that golden semen is actually the collection of all the jivas in this universe. That is called as Hiranyagarbha, or the subtle form of Virat Purusha. The collection of all the jivas. Yes, the total sum of all the jivas. Okay, who would like to read the purport? Okay, Sachidanand Prabhu, you can read. Please read, Prabhu. You have to unmute and read, Prabhu. Please unmute.
As the gross cosmic in manifestation is conceived as the gigantic body of the Lord, so also there is the conception of his subtle form, which is simply realized without being seen, heard, or manifested. But in fact, all these gross or subtle conception of the body are in relation with the living beings. The living beings has his spiritual form beyond this gross material or subtle psychic, physic, psychic existence. The gross body and psychic functions cease to act as soon as the living being leaves the visible gross body. In fact, we say that the living being has gone away because he is unseen and unheard. Even when the gross body is not acting, when the living being is in sound sleep, we know that he is within the body by his breathing. So the living beings passing away from the body does not mean that there is no existence of the living soul. It is there, otherwise how can he repeat his birth again and again? The conclusion that the Lord eternally existent in his transcendental form, which is neither gross nor subtle, like that of the living being. His body is never to be compared to the gross and subtle bodies of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary. The living being has his eternal spiritual form, which is conditioned only by his material contamination. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. So this purport is quite self-explanatory. Nothing much to explain, except the fact that very nice analogy Prabhupada is giving here, that how do we know somebody, although person may not be active, performing action, but even in sleep one person breathes, right? So we understand, okay, the person is breathing. So if somebody is lying down, we have a suspicion, oh, this person is dead. He is not moving, he's not acting. What is the first thing that you will check? We'll check the breath. Is this person breathing? That's what we check, right? And when this person is breathing, that is the time we realize that, well, okay, this person is alive, the soul is still present. Yeah. So similarly, we also can perceive the presence of the Supreme Lord, although we cannot see Him. We may not directly see His Leela, His activities. Oh, where is Krishna performing His pastime now? Is He come as Ramachandra? Even Kalki has not come. Does it mean that He is not there? So just like our gross activities are not happening, person is sleeping. But still we check the breathing, oh, the person is alive. Similarly, by the presence of different seasons. Now the winter is coming in. Slowly the winter is picking up. Right? I can see here temperature. Yes, temperature always they show. If you connect it to net, they show the temperature. It's showing as -1 degrees. I don't feel it right now because we have the heaters in the room, but the temperature outside is -1 degree. It shows. Right? So winter comes, then after that summer comes. Now the sunrise has happened. Previously it was dark. So all these natural phenomena indicate towards the Lord. So this particular section, what is the crux of this whole section? As a preaching application, we all can learn nobody can actually say there is no God. We have so many ways of proving to people just around us how God exists. At our bodily level, are we aging the body? No, we don't do anything. It happens. Are we digesting the food that we give to the body? No, we don't do that. There are so many things which are beyond our circle of control. There's so many in a physical body we can see outside in the natural phenomena, and so many places we can easily prove there is presence of God. That's my humble take on this section. It's something we can prove scientifically. Okay, we have 2 minutes before we enter into the next session, so if there is any comment, question, anyone, we can take that. Okay, hopefully it's a quick one.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, I'm going to be as quick as possible. Just a realization. Thank you for this beautiful class explaining the universal form of the Lord, because it helps us understand how much we take everything for granted. We're actually practically stepping on the Lord if this entire universe represents Him. And so how merciful He is. If like even a little fly lands on us, we swat it away. And yet there's so many of us in the 14 planetary systems. So that was a beautiful realization for me. I wanted to ask you, because later on in the Bhagavatam, it mentions the back of the Lord represents irreligion. Could you specify that? The Virat Roop, the back of Him represents irreligion.
Yes, Virat Rupa, the one more factor is from the back of the Lord comes irreligion. Of course, He has to be source of everything. So what is back of the Lord is not literally the back of Lord. Lord is all auspicious. He is Sarva Mangala. But when the analogy is when we turn away from the Lord, we experience irreligion. Janasya Krishnat Vimukasya Daivat Adharmashilasya Sudukkitasya. So it's not the back of the Lord is irreligion. We have to understand, yes, because everything originates from the Lord. There is nothing wrong with Lord, or there is nothing which is inauspicious in Lord. But when we turn our back from the Lord, we will experience suffering, because that is adharma. That is the true statement of Shastra. Right? It's not that religion is something that's inauspicious. It originates from the Lord. Everything originates from the Lord. But it is not present in the Lord. It's experience when we turn our back to the Lord. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhuji. You have covered so nicely with Virat Rupa and explained so nicely. Many doubts got clear, but I have one doubt that we read in many purpose of Srila Prabhupada that Virat Rupa is imaginary. So, how means this imaginary quotient is there when we have all these aspects as a gross body and subtle body of Virat Rupa?
Yeah. You will not get darshan of Virat Rupa. We have to imagine the conception. Not everybody is as fortunate as Arjuna to have seen. We have to imagine it. Kalpana karni hai. We have to imagine that and hold that conception. That's why it's called imaginary.
Okay.
Because we have to imagine the form. Okay? He is born out of our imagination. We have to understand the conception and hold it in our imagination. As deity form, you don't have to imagine. We just have to take darshan. Yes, you can see Lord as it is. See, that is not imagination. All right. So this particular point of time, we will pause our discussion on the Srimad Bhagavatam and the English class. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada